If you're skipping intros because you think they're boring, you're actually skipping your brand. Let's get into it. For the longest time on my channel, I've had about 150, 160, maybe 200 videos where I did not have an intro to my videos. Now, if you don't know what an intro is, if you're new to YouTube and you're thinking about YouTube, an intro is a section of your video where it's just after the hook. And if you don't know what the hook is what I just said at the very beginning of the video. It's your first 5 to 8 seconds, and then you have your intro, and then you have your content, which is what everyone's gonna watch, and then you have your sort of conclusion where you're gonna have a call to action, maybe subscribe, like, talk in the comments, etc., etc. But that intro, okay, a lot of people forget about that intro and how important it is. All right, it does a lot of things for you. For one, it kind of sets the vibe for the entire video, whatever the intro is. It could be short and sweet. It could be 10 seconds like mine is. Mine is kind of a crazy intro. I've got like 10 or 12 videos that are kind of, arranged together in this interesting way. And then at the very end, I've got my brand, the channel name, my face, and what the channel is all about with 3 bullets, where my channel is about family, career, and financial to build a wealthy life. It's a wealthy life. So, those are the things that you need to think about when starting a YouTube channel. I think it can benefit you tremendously. A lot of people start their channel by just talking, talking head, maybe doing a walk, and they don't think about this intro very much. It does take a lot of thought behind it, but there's tons of tools out there to get this intro, okay? There's many template websites for you to build these intro videos. There's one called Envato Elements. Years ago, I've used that platform, downloaded a bunch of intros for my channel, and that's a good platform. And what they do is they format these Adobe After Effects templates for you to actually build your own intro. And that's what's cool about it, You can play around with different templates that you're interested in and, just get different ideas. And to be honest, I think I might actually do a couple intros just to have some variety if I do want to change it up. That would be kind of interesting. I don't want to make changes all the time to my intros because I do feel like you want to have consistency. And that's the other thing, is that having an intro provides consistency for your viewers, and it provides you consistency. Now, what do I mean by that? It forces you to think of a hook. It forces you to have a format for your videos to where you always want a good, solid hook, because that hook is what gets your viewers hooked into the video. It gets them interested, And then if you got a hook that's, let's say, 5 to 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, you got the intro, which is maybe, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. Right there, you've got the first 25 seconds where the viewer is gonna watch for that long. And I'm telling you, YouTube looks at that. If they see people drop off within the first 5 seconds, your video is not gonna push at all. Now, I haven't evaluated fully how much better the performance has been with having an intro. I'm not exactly sure how much better it is. I have kind of noticed the last 2 weeks since I've started it, the videos have been doing pretty good. I've been pretty happy with it. Subscriber growth count's been going pretty decent. I'm happy about that. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to keep it the intro, again, because it forces me to do a hook, to think about a good quality hook. Now, for my first 200 videos, my hooks have been, hey guys, welcome back. The title of the video is XYZ. That's been my hook for the longest time, and I've never had an intro. And I think from time to time, I'll still do that hook, the title of the video is, but I'm getting a little more creative now. I can quickly ask ChatGPT, all right, here's my video. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think of a couple hooks? What are some ideas? You know, the hook for this video was from ChatGPT. You know, I'm not that creative, to be honest. You know, and a lot of people struggle with trying to, you know, have a catchy hook and all that. But that's what it is, you know. Use the tools to your advantage to figure out how to best promote your YouTube channel. And I think that having that structure of the hook and the intro, it just builds your brand that much better. You want to ship out your brand. What is your brand? Figure it out, because it's going to kind of make a direction for your channel too. You know, if you don't have a brand, you kind of don't know what your channel is all about and what you're talking about. You know, even if it's vlogs, you can have a brand for that vlog, no doubt. You know, a vlog is very generalized and you can, you know, talk about just about anything, but you can have a brand for a vlog, no doubt, you know. I think everyone should have a personal brand. That's what YouTube is. And so you got to figure that out, and your intro is where it's at. People are going to see that intro every time they click and they watch the video, and that's almost the first thing they watch, and they remember you and they come back to you and they get comfortable with that brand, and they know that you're serious. You mean business on YouTube. You know, you're not just the YouTubers that's gonna, you know, fall off the wayside and quit YouTube. We see it all the time. There's all these YouTubers that, you know, think they're gonna go monetize, think they're gonna go viral, and you know, they fall off the wagon and quit. So having an intro will keep you serious, and it'll keep the viewer, you know, engaged. Okay, now like I said, you don't have to have one. I did have a video go viral. I've got 30,000 views on a video that has no intro, just simply the title of the video. That's all that's on that video. So it's not to say that intros are going to make you go viral, but what it does is it provides your audience with a solid, consistent brand and a format that they're used to, that they're excited about. You know, try to figure out what that intro is. Try to get, you know, what is the vibe of your channel with that intro. That's gonna dictate how they feel about things. I've got kind of like this house beats thing with my intro. It's kind of fun. That's the way I like to vibe. But you know, maybe yours is just like a cute, quaint type of thing, or you know, maybe it's like deep and scary. Maybe you got doom and gloom or whatever. You know, whatever the vibe is, you got to figure that out. That's up to you. No one can do that for you. However, I'm kind of thinking about actually trying to help people do this, because I had fun doing it, and I got a few templates that we could use and we could work together on this. You know, we got AI music that we could work together on to try to figure out the right thing. So I think I'm going to open up my email, which I haven't set up yet. I'm going to set it up. I think it's going to be dan@itsawealthylife.com. I think that's what it's going to be. So I'll put it in the description below. Maybe it could change, but for now, that's what it's going to be. So, you know, if you guys are interested in getting some help with setting up that intro, I've got a little bit of experience, so I'll definitely help you guys out. I don't know what, you know, if I'm going to charge for it. I probably won't at first, you know, but send me an email. I'll see what kind of like traction is out there. That's some interest for doing that kind of work. You know, I want to learn how to do After Effects even more, so that could even help me. So, you know, I think at first maybe I'll do kind of some freebies here and there. And if I do want to make it kind of a service, hey, I think that'd be kind of fun to help people out. That's what it's all about, guys, is mentoring people. That's what this channel is mentoring with guidance and wisdom. And hey, I can help too. You know, I think it'd be fun, learn a little bit more about people, what their channels are trying to accomplish, and we can build some intros together. I think it's important to help people be successful on YouTube. That's what it's all about, guys. Building a brand. You know, that's what you got to think about. YouTube is a business. Don't get me wrong. I've had a few videos where I've said, hey, forget about the views, forget about the virality. I think that is important, but at the end of the day, you do want to make some money. I think eventually it's going to take time, guys. You know, it's going to take, you know, probably a couple years, to be honest, for most people out there. If you work hard enough, like I have, you will start to grow your channel. If you're going to hustle it out, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm not going viral. I don't have some crazy misery story or, you know, some interesting content. It's just I'm a regular guy and I got to grind it out to get that following, you know, and a lot of people out there are going to have to do the same. You're going to have some hooks and some intros and some good content. And that's what it is, guys. So we got to help each other out here. And so hopefully this tip helps you build an intro for your videos. I think you'll enjoy it. And I think you'll start to think about your videos in a much different perspective. It sets that vibe. It's funny, when I go out and I do a recording, when I say the hook, I then think of my intro and the music behind it is like the next thing as I'm walking. And then I say, you know, all right, now we're doing this, XYZ. I get into the content right after. So anyways, hopefully this helps you guys, you know, helps you guys understand what YouTube is and how to do it right. I mean, there's no right or wrong way, actually, to be honest, but you know, I think structure does help a lot of YouTubers out. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you're looking for help, you know, like I said, I think I'll expose an email address for you guys. And if you guys could, like and subscribe if you like the content. Take a look at my previous video. And everyone, have a great day. Thanks.